The Roman statue that you see on screen is an expensive piece of art. It once adorned the house of a rich young lady. However, one day while she was away on a tour, this statue went missing from her home. When she learnt of the disappearance of the statue, she presumed that the theft was the work of her housemaid, since she had earlier shown great interest in knowing more about the statue. So the rich young lady went to the local police station to lodge a complaint. The inspector at the police station filed a FIR, or a First Information Report. The police called the maid for questioning. During the questioning, they discovered that the maid had transferred a large sum of money to her relatives. Suspecting that this money was from the sale of the expensive statue, a case was made against the maid, a charge sheet was issued, and she was jailed. Since the maid was poor and there was no one to stand surety for her, she could not get bail and had to remain in prison. After a month, when the charge sheet was presented to the magistrate's court, the maid expressed her inability to hire a lawyer for herself due to her state of poverty. At this point, the judge asked for a defense lawyer to be appointed who would defend the maid's case in court. Why did the judge offer the services of a defense lawyer when she was a suspected thief? This was because Article 22 of the Indian Constitution states that it is the fundamental right of every individual to be defended by a lawyer. Also, if a person cannot afford a lawyer, then as per Article 39A, the state, that is the government, has to provide a lawyer for citizens who cannot engage a lawyer due to poverty or any other disability. Once the defense lawyer was appointed, he discussed the entire case with the maid. The maid apprised him that the money she had sent to her relatives was from her savings of her monthly salary that she had frugally spent. On the day of trial in the magistrate's court, the public prosecutor cross-examined the maid by asking her various questions related to her work, relatives, and the money she had transferred. He tried to establish the wrong done by her. Next, the defense lawyer cross-examined the rich young lady to determine why she suspected her maid to be the thief. Through the cross-examination process, the defense lawyer was able to prove that the maid was wrongly accused, as there was no firm evidence that money transferred by her was from the sale of the statue. After the court proceedings, the judge gave his judgment. He acquitted the maid of the theft charges and declared her innocent. The judge further reprimanded the police for their shoddy investigation and asked them to further investigate and find the real criminal. From the fictional example above, it is very clear that every citizen of India has a right to fair trial. What do we mean by fair trial? A fair trial implies that no one can be arrested and punished before undergoing a process to establish whether the person is guilty or not. This trial is held in open court and gives the accused an opportunity to defend oneself. If a crime is committed, the first step is to file a FIR, or the First Information Report, with the police. It is with the registration of an FIR that the police can begin their investigations into the crime. The FIR usually mentions the date, time and place of the offence, details the basic facts of the offence, including a description of the events, and even the accused. Role of the police is to investigate, collect evidence, and arrest, detain or interrogate as per the guidelines laid down. If they find the accused guilty, they have to file a charge sheet in the court. A charge sheet is the document required to begin any case in a court. The case is heard in court. Here, the defense lawyer's role is to cross-examine the prosecution witnesses and defend the accused. Role of public prosecutor is to cross-examine the accused to establish their crime. Why is he known as a public prosecutor? This is because a crime committed is not only against the affected victim, but is a crime against society at large. Thus, he also represents the interest of the state. The role of the judge is to see that justice is given, so he hears arguments from both sides evaluates the evidence presented in court and based on the above gives judgment. Thus, the police, the defense lawyer, the public prosecutor and the judge are four important pillars in the criminal justice system in India. What is required for the police to begin investigating a crime? A FIR is in case of a criminal offense, who represents the interests of the state? The public prosecutor.
According to India's constitution, a person accused of breaking a law is entitled to a fair trial in a court. A trial is said to be fair when it is held in view of public in an open court and when it is carried out in the presence of the accused. To ensure the fairness of a trial, the presence of the following four functionaries is essential: the police, the public prosecutor, the defense advocate, and the judge. Over the following screens, you will learn about the roles of each of these functionaries. When one of our country's laws is found to have been broken, the police must first investigate the incident. The police must file complaint reports, record statements of witnesses, and collect the necessary evidence. If the investigation indicates that the accused person might be guilty of breaking a law, the police can file a charge sheet in the court and take custody of the accused person. When a crime is said to have been committed against a person or group of people, the rest of the society is also considered affected by the crime. The public prosecutor fights a case on behalf of not just the victim of a crime, but also on behalf of the state at large. To prove the guilt of the accused person, the public prosecutor must present the court with material evidence as well as witnesses related to the case. In a fair trial, the accused person is given ample chance to prove his innocence. The defense advocate argues on behalf of the accused person. In order to prove the innocence of the accused, the defense advocate presents the court with necessary evidence. The defense advocate also cross-examines the witnesses presented by the prosecution and analyzes the prosecution's evidence. The judge analyzes the evidence presented by the prosecution and the defense lawyer. The judge then decides whether the accused person is guilty or innocent. The decisions made by the judge must be in accordance with the law. In case the judge finds the accused person guilty of the crime, the judge passes a sentence of punishment that is in accordance with the law. A person accused of a crime cannot be considered guilty until the prosecution, with the help of evidence, can prove the person's guilt beyond doubt. This way, the police, the public prosecutor, the defense lawyer and the judge play an important role in upholding our country's judicial system.